Awesome. Here we go.
Oh my God, the bell. Wow. Never thought
I,
that. I never thought that would be ringing for me, but okay.
I bet you believe that it would someday. Just probably not this fast. I love it. To build a successful, long-lasting real estate business, there are 20 skills that you need to develop. And one of those skills is, of course, lead generation. But what do we do? How do we get into lead generation? How do we find opportunities when we're in a completely different industry, when we have a completely different job, when we have all of this love and all of this excitement for the real estate business, but we still have responsibilities that we need to take care of. And I've got an exceptional wholesaler that has now gone full time in this business. He was a boiler operator in Newark, New Jersey for 2 years. He jumped into real estate in 2021, really got going in 2022, and took it to the next level in 2023. He's closed 7 deals. It's my pleasure to bring on here Javon King. Javon, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm all right. How are you?
I am excited about this. So there you are, working on operating boilers with this dream of being in real estate. And we had talked just before this podcast had started, and I wanted to know, what is your family's background with real estate? And you actually grew up in a 3-unit house that your dad owned. And so let's talk about this for a second, because I think that this is really powerful, because I think this really shapes your story when it comes to real estate investing. So what did you learn from that experience growing up 15 years or so, maybe more, with your dad as a landlord?
Yeah. It was actually very, very molding for me. So when he bought it, I really didn't know the difference of renting and owning. I just lived somewhere, and that was that. And then once he owned it, I kind of started to see the different things he had to go through. It was almost like it was all on him. So it really showed me the ins and outs of being a landlord, because it was a 3-unit. And it made me think, like, wow, I saw the potential in it. I said, wait, if they're paying this and they're paying this, okay, this is a pretty good deal. You know what I mean? So that's what really got me going with the real estate bug.
Yeah, I love it. Were you reading any books? Were you going to any meetup groups? I mean, you've got this whole other career that you were going down. You worked at a call center. You got into the operating the boilers. I have no idea what that means, by the way. We're in Phoenix. We don't have boilers, but I assume that it's something that you have to be really skilled in, and that's probably a career path that most people just stay on. So how did you start? How did you keep feeding the fire in your belly for real estate while you had a full-time job?
Okay, wow. So I'll make a long story short. So yeah, being a boiler operator is it's a trade. So once you learn it, people usually stay in it forever, and the longer you're in it, usually the more money you make, and the less you do, actually. So it is a pretty good field. But as far as real estate, so when I was younger, I thought about it a lot. My dad had an older cousin, she owned, and they would talk, and they would always talk business, and their conversations were different than everyone else's, of course. But it left my mind for a while, until I want to say about 2018, 2019. I was coming into some money, and I wanted to figure out how to use it. So at first I started really thinking about stocks and what to do with that. But I stumbled across real estate information. So I started to read, started to listen to podcasts, and I really dove in for years before I actually invested myself. So when I did get that, I would be ready. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what happened that got me on this path.
I love it. But wholesaling is so much different than buy and hold, right? So
Yeah.
for everybody out there, there's really 3 main buckets for your exit strategies, or for the models of the businesses that you're building as a real estate entrepreneur. There's buy and hold, where you've got rental portfolio. There's fix and flip, or just flipping, where you actually take ownership of the property and then sell that ownership to somebody else. And then there's wholesale. There's assigning your purchase agreement, which is a whole different niche in the real estate business. So how did you find us? How did you find us and discover how incredible and powerful this part of the business is?
Okay, so I found you guys during a little bit of a rough patch. So you mentioned the three avenues. So yeah, I started with
Hmm.
buy and hold, and a lender talked me into doing a flip.
Sure.
So I did this flip, and it was going okay at first. At first, you know what I mean? And so I was working with a contractor, didn't really know what I was doing. And he wasn't a bad guy. It's just he wanted to get paid. And I didn't realize that you really shouldn't be paying him by the week. You should pay him by completion.
Sure.
And they started very good. So I thought I had nothing to worry about. Then I would pop in and they were like not doing anything on their phone, just kind of milking me. But during that time, I really didn't have much to do because I had recently just quit my job. And I'm like, man, I want to do something in real estate. I don't know what to do. Then I started hearing TTP. I started hearing you. It was mainly just you. I would
Yeah.
hear, I'm like, wow, this guy's so energetic. He's breaking all this stuff down. He makes it sound so simple.
Yeah.
So I started to dive in it myself.
I love it. So what was your
Yeah.
how did you get into it? What did you start with? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. So I had joined another program and it was all about fixing and flipping, but finding your own fix and flip deals. So a portion of it was to teach you how to find your own deals, which I wanted to do because I didn't tell you. I bought my first buy and hold from a wholesaler, and I just saw the power they had. Every time I wanted to negotiate, I had to talk to him, and he had to talk to the
Yeah.
owner. I was like, wow, I kind of wish I could do that. So I was like, okay, I'll learn how to find my own deals. That's what I wanted to do at first, and then I kept hearing you and kept hearing, assignment and these spreads. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm sure people can do that, but I don't think that will ever happen for me. But lo and behold, I ended up doing my first deal by accident. And then from there, kind of snowball. I kept listening and diving deeper into TTP and Rhino Nation, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm ready to go all in on this thing.
How do you accidentally do a deal?
I knew you would ask. So, so, so I was calling a homeowner because I wanted to try to purchase the house. And in Pennsylvania, I don't know if it's like this everywhere else, but they have a property that's deeded out more to two people. So if it's a duplex, it'll be a side by side. One half is deeded
Yep.
separate than the other half. So I was trying to get the one half, and I ended up. The guy responded to me like months later via text message. His wife held on to the text, gave it to him. He called me out of the blue. Said, "Yeah, I want to sell." We had a nice conversation, built some rapport. And then at the end of the conversation, he said, "Oh, and I think the guy next door to me wants to sell as well." I said, "Okay, fantastic." So I call him up, and because I wanted to purchase, his property, he said, "No, I don't want to sell." He said, "I want to buy the property next door to me, which is, part of that duplex." I said, "Oh,
Yep.
really?" I said, "How much would you pay for it?" He gave me a low ball offer. I said, well, I'll be honest with you. More than that is owed on it. If you can come up a few thousand, maybe we can make this happen. So he came up to a number. We agreed on it. I didn't even have it under contract yet. So I hurry up and called the owner back, like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll buy it. I'm going to send you the contract now via DocuSign. Sign it as soon as possible. So he signed it. And then I ended up doing a deal like that. I didn't even get an assignment fee. I got a consultant fee. They
Yeah.
just sent me a check in the mail and that was it. I didn't even assign it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I
it
get
was
it.
nice.
So was the seller of that unit living there, or was it like a rental property for him?
No, it was actually vacant. Some squatters had lived in it at one time and needed a bunch of work.
Yeah, that's great. Because you never know, right? Like you could live right next to somebody and never and want to buy it, but never reach out, never take the initiative to try to talk to the property owner, and that's where we come in. And then we
Mhm.
just kind of get into the middle of that situation and coordinate all of the seller and the buyer, and boom, you get paid. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the
that's really what this whole business is about. People are wanting to buy and sell every single day, every single minute of every single day. We just get into the middle of it, or we buy them ourselves. You know what I mean? We go out and find incredible opportunities. You could do flips, you could do double closes, you could do double escrows, you could do all sorts of different things. The exit strategy really doesn't matter. What wholesaling is the art of finding discounted property. and that's what we do, and
It's
that's powerful.
fantastic.
Now you've got for everybody listening, you're not going to be able to see this, but you can check it out on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel. Behind you, you have a very large whiteboard, which
Oh
I
yes.
feel is the most underrated tool of an entrepreneur, right? It doesn't get enough love. Everybody has them, but nobody talks about them. So you've got this thing filled out behind you. What's the purpose of it and what's on there?
This thing, it keeps me organized. It gives me a visual every day. Soon as I walk into my little work area here, I see that board. It has the tasks of my VAs.
Yep.
It has my lead generation avenues. I have about 10 things up there from, text messaging, cold calling, paper lead, real estate auctions, pre-foreclosure lists, on and on and on. Some things I'm looking to do and some motivational words up there. So it's just pretty much everything I'm trying to do compressed into a little area right there.
I love it. So I've got 5 questions here for you. Number one, what's your top lead generation source right now?
Cold calling, talking to
Cold calling.
TTP.
TTP, baby. I love it. Talking to people. So, and you had mentioned this leads into my second question, VAs.
Mhm.
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about your team, and let's deep dive into this because I'm very curious about this.
Okay, yeah, definitely. So now I did watch your video about when you should hire, and that your first VA should be administrative.
Yeah.
But I am, believe it or not, I'm an integrator. I'm not really the visionary.
Okay.
And I'm actually introverted, but just when you get me talking real estate, I don't know, I'll become a different person. So I
Sure.
can sit at a computer, make spreadsheets, set up websites, and do things like that very well. So I didn't hire an administrative VA. I hired
Yeah,
just a cold caller.
I get it.
So she's been with me for four months now. I brought on a second one after her, and now I'm actually about to bring on an administrative VA because I'm starting to get a little overwhelmed. But yeah, so that's what I have right now. I have two VAs working for me, actually three. So I have the one cold caller. I have one who's from an agency, which is REI call center,
Okay, cool.
but it doesn't feel like they work for me. And then I have one who just is doing cash buyers right now. She's specifically assigned to that.
With the same REI call center?
No, REI call center just gives me one VA. The other ones are two Filipino VAs.
And these are like freelancers that you found?
No, I went through an agency to find them, but they work directly under me now. One of them
Right.
is REI World. That's the first one, and she's been very good. And the second one was Riva Global. I just recently so I brought in two, but I had to let one go because he was just really underperforming. But the other
Yeah.
one, she's a stud. She's working with just cash buyers. She's been fantastic. So that's the
Amazing.
team.
So with your REI call center VA making your cold calls, how many hours a week is your caller calling?
20.
20 hours a week. Okay, great.
Mhm.
And what do you pay an hour?
So that one is not hourly; it's monthly. You pay $1,300 a month. So
Okay.
it's a little, more expensive than.
And is it one of those things where it's not you don't get a certain amount of hours, but you get a certain amount of guaranteed leads?
No, no, you get a certain amount of hours.
Okay.
You don't get a certain amount of guaranteed leads, but they manage them. They make sure they're trained correctly. Make sure they know what they're doing when they're talking to a motivated seller and things like that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, listen, and this is just for everybody out there. I highly encourage when you hire a caller, a texter, anybody that is doing lead generation for your business, spend 15 minutes every single day for 6 weeks and have a call with them that is going over their recorded calls, any calls that they have over 3 minutes. Spend 15 minutes. 90% of that should be giving them really good feedback, and then 10% is stuff to work on. And don't overwhelm them. Have one or two things that they need to work on, whether it's their tone, whether it's their pacing, whether it's their scripting, whether it's getting more information, pre-qualifying based on the condition, timeline, motivation, price. The more you pour in to your VA callers, the more money they're going to make you, for sure. Because every VA is scared to death that they're going to get fired the next day. You know what I mean? And if you build a really great relationship with them and a really great foundation, they will stay with you. I am telling you, Fran, who I use, she's with a company called motivatedsellers.com, made my company $800,000 last year. 800,000, Javon. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because we talk about it in the tribe, but it's because we poured in early and she just does the work, and she's been with me for 4 years. And so maybe 5 years now. And so turnover is really important and really matters. So the more you pour into your VAs and their skills are built, the more they're going to make for you and the longer that they're going to stay, so that it's not going to be as much turnover. So awesome. So you've got what do you mean you've got a VA that's working on your cash buyers? What does that mean?
So right now, she just started a couple weeks ago. Right now, all she's doing is calling cash buyers just to build up that list for me.
How do you find that list?
PropStream.
Okay. So
Yeah.
walk me through that. Walk everybody through that.
Okay. So I just go on PropStream and whatever county, they have a cash buyers filter. I put that in there. Typically, I will only start off by doing owns no less than 2 properties and has made a purchase within the past 12 months.
Yeah.
And that's really it. Depending on how many come up, if it's not enough, then maybe I'll just say, all right, no less than 1 property to get more, because she's going to be making a lot of calls, so I need a lot of names in there, a lot of contacts, and then that's it.
So PropStream, you can get that, guys, at ttpdata.com, and right there you have a button for cash buyers. I mean, you got a cash buyer button, and then you can filter all of that. And you're saying last 12 months and have bought 2?
Yes, owns at least 2 properties and has made a purchase within the past 12 months.
I love it.
Yeah.
How do you get a hold of them? They're all in LLCs. You know what I mean? Like, how do you get their phone numbers?
Well, I use skip tracing service. That's I haven't heard many people talk about it, but it's called Versium Reach.
Okay.
And they allow you to find these LLCs info if you use the mailing address. So you get the mailing address, PropStream gives you that, you put that in there, and then it'll try. It's not perfect, but it'll give you the person's name if it finds them, which I found very helpful. So you're not saying, Riverside Holdings LLC. Instead, you're actually saying someone's name. You know what I mean?
And that's Versium Reach.
Yes.
VERSIUM.
Yes, Reach, REACH.
And what does it cost to skip trace?
So they sell packages. Now you can get them single. I think it's like 4 cents a skip or something like that. Yeah. But I just bought the package, which was $3,600 for the year. Mm-hmm. But it gives you 210,000 credits, and each skip trace takes 1 credit, and you can get multiple numbers per skip trace. So is it 210,000?
And you're finding it accurate?
It's pretty accurate. Now it's not as accurate as batch, but it's solid. You get some wrong numbers in there and things like that, but for the sheer volume that you're getting, and for that price, it adds
nice.
So
can you split up that payment, the $3,600?
You can't. You have to pay it all at once.
And then what is it?
Pay as you go.
Okay. Well, we'll look into it and we'll see what their pricing packages is, and then I'll do an audit to check on the accuracy with my own business and see what the difference is, because we use batch skip tracing. They pull from multiple different sources, so it's always been the top quality, and really you want quality in your data. But Javon, if you're telling me that you're reaching out, you're getting a hold of these people, and it's costing you a fraction of the price, that's phenomenal. I love it. Absolutely incredible. Okay, so then you've got your VAs reaching out to the cash buyers. What do they say? What are your cash buyers saying to these? I mean, I'm sorry. What do your VAs say to your cash buyers to get them into your list and get them excited about your deals?
I do have a script. Actually, I got it from TTP. I went through the course, and your disposition manager, has a whole cash buyer. Yeah, has a whole cash buyer course. So I went through that, and he also includes a script. So I use that script.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Absolutely incredible. There it is. It's simple, right?
yeah.
There's already a model out there. Just follow it. I love it. Okay, well, let's break down a deal. Let's talk about a deal that you recently did, and let's get into the nitty gritty. I feel like this whole podcast, Javon, we've been getting into the nitty gritty. So thank you so much for being so open and sharing so much with everybody. I'm sure everybody is getting incredible value out of this. And guys, this is real life. This isn't theory based. We vet everybody that comes on to this podcast to make sure that they're closing deals and they've got a go-giver heart, and they're going to come in and they're not going to keep things guarded. They're going to tell you exactly what to do to go out there and find opportunities, because that's the whole point of the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. So let's break down a deal.
Okay.
What do you got for us?
Sure. I'll break down one I did last month that I'm fairly proud of. So this deal was actually brought in by my cold caller, and I called the homeowner up, and he's a senior, and he's just looking to kind of cash out and get some money. But when I was talking to him, I pitched seller financing to him, and he really liked it. So I was able to went to go see the house. Whenever I go see a house, I bring the contract with me. So if everything's going well, I can get it signed right then and there. Just like you say, just like you said, I left it with him. I just took a photo of it, sent it over to the title company.
Yep.
So, and right on the back of it, we negotiated the seller finance terms. So do you want the numbers on this one?
I want everything. I'm so curious. So what's the condition of the property?
The condition is fairly good. So it was a 3-unit. The first floor unit needed the most work. The third floor unit was great because he actually used to live there a few years back himself, and he did a lot of the work in there because he's a contractor as well. So the third floor unit was great, and the second floor unit was okay. Not bad, but it could use a little touch-ups here and there, but it was in solid shape.
It was okay. So not, I mean, repair budget under 30,000?
No, not under 30. I would say closer to 50.
Yeah,
I would say closer to 50 if you want it to be, nice. It's in a nicer area. I think 50 would have really got it pristine.
Yeah, get the upgrades going for sure. Okay, and what list was it on that you were calling? Do you remember?
Yeah. This is my favorite tired landlords, actually. Tired landlords, unoccupied, or they don't live in it. I can't think of the word right now. They don't live
non-owner occupied.
Non-owner.
Absentee owner, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
We know what you're saying. All right, so tired landlords, by the way, guys, another solid list to pull with PropStream, ttpdata.com. You can literally click a button. It's right there. It's like the foundational list. And 80% of the deals that we do in Phoenix are with tired landlords. It's just, these properties have been rented for a long time, and almost every single one of them, the conversation goes like this. The landlord talks to the tenant and says, listen, don't call me. I'm not going to raise your rents, but don't call me if something breaks. You fix it. And then the tenants don't really fix it. They kind of just, let things get worse and worse and worse. And then by the time tenants leave, the landlord's like, oh my gosh, I got to get rid of this property. And so it's great opportunities. It's not a foreclosure. It's not that they're behind on property taxes. It's just that simply wear and tear on the property over years and years and years. And so we set a minimum amount of time for the first go round of that list to 10 years, 10 years of ownership or more. Do you do the same, Javon?
I have it as 6.
Yeah.
I have it as 6.
Great.
Some more.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. So conditions not too bad. It's a tired landlord list. Your caller called up. From the time that they talked to this property owner to the time that you closed this, how many days is that?
This closing took a little longer than I expected. It was probably about 45 days.
From the first call to you getting paid?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Listen, the average is 92 days when you're just reaching out cold to a property owner. So 45, you're doing it in half the time. I love it. This guy was ready to go.
Yeah, he was ready. He was ready. It's just I don't know what held it up as far as on the buyer side. He had all cash. I don't know what was going on with that. But finally they sent us a message. Okay, we want to close next week. I said thank you.
Awesome. And then you go on that appointment and it starts getting creative. So what'd you do creatively?
So I went on the appointment, saw everything, took the photos, and then we went and sat on the porch and we were just talking. He was telling me about he had owned some properties before. He had I think he actually had sold one and the person didn't have all the money, so he agreed to some seller finance type, but it wasn't like cut and dry seller finance. It was kind of like handshake seller finance or buy the rent to own or something like that. So I
Yeah.
said, we can do that as well. And if you do that, we can get to your number. He said, really? So then we just kind of discussed what would be acceptable as a down payment. He's like, well, I want a significant amount of cash because I want to put it in a CD account. And at that time, they had a promotion where they was giving like 5% on your money in the CDC. He said, so I want a significant amount. I said, okay, if we can do 25%, would that be okay? And 25% was around a little over $100,000 because the
Mm,
house was it was 430,000.
yeah.
So he said, yeah, that would work for me. I said, okay. And then we would have to work out the monthly payments because I listened to a podcast before where you had a guest on saying that the monthly payments really should be no higher than half of the incoming rents.
That's
I
right.
said, all right, we'll try to work that out. And he said, but I won't take any less than 4.5% interest. I was like, oh man, I was hoping he would be lenient on that. He said, yeah, because with the bank, he's like, you're not going to get anything close to this good. I said, okay, but as long as we can do interest only.
Yeah.
So that was okay with him. So we kind of wrote all that stuff out on the back, the 25% down, 4.5% interest only, a 30-year amortization, but balloon payment is due after 5 years with the option to extend. And he said that's fine because he was looking for steady income anyway.
Sure.
So, and that's how we negotiated that. And
Awesome.
that was it.
That's incredible. And just so everybody knows, the kind of rule of thumb, the like really sweet spot for seller financing is 10-50-10, which is like 10% or less down that you come in with. The lower the amount, obviously, the bigger pool of buyers that you can have, or the more properties that you can pick up with your own capital. 50% of the estimated rents, that's where the 50 comes in, just to make sure that there's enough cash flow in there to make sure that you can keep this property looking clean. You can deal with the wear and tear. You can deal with vacancy. You can do all that. And then 10-year balloon is where you want to have a minimum, but you put it at 5 with an extension. So just if anybody's wondering, 10-50-10, just kind of keep that in your mind. Those are smoking hot deals. That's not like you can adjust that to whatever's going on depending on what market you're in and what kind of opportunity it is. But I love it. You went 25% down. And the interest rate, to me, here's the interesting thing. I don't care if somebody wants an interest rate. And I tell this to my acquisition managers. If they want a 10% interest rate, yeah, great. What's the monthly payment? Because I can pay 10% as long as it's amortized over 50 years or 60 years or 70 years. The amortization schedule, and you can just look that up because it's a weird word and I never knew what it means. It means the death of a debt, essentially. Amort is to die, but it's really to pay that off, keeping the payments really low so that it's paid off over a long period of time. You just got to make sure in 10 years you're getting that appreciation and some debt payoff, so it makes sense that you can either refinance and or sell that property. But usually 10 years is really strong. So congrats. But you got 5 years, you got 25% down. But the payment was solid.
Yeah, the payment was solid. It was actually half of the rent after expenses. So
Yeah, I love
yeah,
doing creative deals. They're just so fun to be able to put together. I don't like keeping them typically, just depending on where they're at in my area. But it's really strong to be able to do that and to have that skills to negotiate with a property owner. Because sometimes a cash offer isn't the best option for them. So you need to be able to, if the wrench doesn't work, you got to pull out the screwdriver, so to speak. So awesome. So you have this deal. You've got it locked up. It's a threeplex. It needs $50K. He wants 25% down. You got it for 5 years. Who do you sell this to?
oh, I worked with someone on this, and we got like seven people who were ready to move on this. So I worked with a realtor who I met at a meetup that I'm actually going to tonight. She had she has buyers. She has a bunch of buyers,
Sure.
and within 4 days, she had three people. She was walking through the property and everything.
Yeah.
And one guy came in. He had the cash ready, like physical cash too. He was paying with bills, whatever. So
Yeah.
he was ready, and I had to let everyone else know. You're on standby. Standby. We have someone who's ready to go. For whatever reason, it took him a while to close, but he was ready. So,
And what'd you make?
so the assignment fee initially was 30K, which we were splitting 60/40. But I guess I sent this deal out to some of the wrong people, and they were trying to poach it from me. This is a very competitive market here, very very
Yep.
competitive,
Yeah.
and they were kind of trying to poach it. So I would really suggest people, as a wholesaler, really be protective of your deals when it comes to just sending them out to anybody who wants it, because every deal I've had now, someone's tried to poach it, going by my back. Anyway, they kept getting in his ear. And so he ended up wanting some more money. So me and the person I was working with, we just took it out of our assignment fee rather than going back to the buyer and renegotiating, because he was already putting so much money up front.
Sure.
So it ended up being 25K. So the original was 60% of 30K. So I was getting 18 and they were getting 12. But then once it went down to 25, we just both gave $2,500. So I ended up getting 15.5 and they got 9.5.
Awesome. Here we go.
Oh my God, the bell. Wow. Never
I
I never thought that would be ringing for me, but okay.
I bet you believe that it would someday. Just probably not this fast. I love it. Listen, I mean, that comes from one call. That comes from you doing. Listen, you said something earlier that I think is really important about self-awareness and about the labels that we put on ourselves and about the things. Where is our zone of genius? Where are we really comfortable with? What are we really good at? And you're saying you love being organized. You love having that analytical approach to this business. And I will tell you, some of the wealthiest real estate investors that I know have that analytical mind. You know what I mean? Just absolutely brilliant with systems and with procedures and with just going through and making sure that each part of the process doesn't have any fat in it. And I think that that's what you've done. And I love that you're pouring into your VAs and they're getting you great opportunities, and that you're sticking in with the side of the business that you like, and that is really important. You know what I mean? But also, you also made a bunch of calls. You also
Yes.
talked to a bunch of people. You also can't let the label of introvert or label of analytical or label as visionary versus integrator stop you from building skills in this business. And I'll mention the 20 skills at the end of this podcast, but it's just really important that you go out there and you're able to build momentum in your business by talking to people and getting out of your comfort zone and doing this business. And you're a beautiful example of it. You've done 7 deals. You closed 28,000 last month, and the momentum's building, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So give some advice for everybody out there that's just getting started. Um, yeah, give some encouragement, some advice, whatever you want to do.
Sure thing. First off, I will say, yeah, I did make a lot of calls. I do have I worked in a call center before, so it really helped me. So, guys, just pull from whatever your background is, pull from that, take those skills, and that's what's going to help propel you. And I did make a bunch of calls before I had someone making calls for me. But honestly, my thing is I try to bring a blue collar mindset to this. I'm detail oriented. Some people can put those long term goals out there and kind of, shoot for those. Me, I have to be a 1, 2, 3 guy, nitty gritty. Okay, I'm doing this detail every single day, this thing, and then the picture becomes clearer later. So if you're that type, don't let it discourage you. Just keep your head down, keep working, keep doing the little things that makes big progress, as far as being on the phones, going to see properties, or keep staying organized so that you can keep that clear picture ahead of what's the next task you need to do to
Yep.
be able to push your business forward, and you'll be fine, and stay consistent. Don't let the down months get you down, so to speak.
Perfectly said. I love it. How can people reach out to you? How can they show
Um,
you some love?
yeah. So you can reach out to me. I'll give you my phone number. Uh,
Woo! Oh man.
yeah,
All right, go
reach
for it.
out. Hey, I'm in this for the long run.
I
It's
love it. I love it.
my phone is 973-358-8681. You can call or text that number. Also, you can reach me on Instagram or Facebook. It's under my business name, which is Soul King, SOLEKINGRE. So that's Soul King Real Estate, but it's Soul King RE. And just reach out to me. Anything you need. If you want a partner, if you run into something, maybe I have an answer for it. Maybe we can brainstorm on it. Just reach out.
Absolutely incredible. 973-358-8681. Guys, reach out. I mean, that's phenomenal. I mean, I remember starting in this business, Javon, and nobody would, everything was very secretive, everything was kind of guarded and everything. And just seeing that you're out there putting out your phone number to help people that are just getting started, or doing deals, especially if you're doing deals in New Jersey, in Newark, reach out. We want to walk you through the whole process and get you through the finish line. It'll be absolutely phenomenal. So you look great in that shirt. I love it. We're twinning right now. It's
Yes.
absolutely incredible. Thank you. Thank you for being on here. You're powerful. You're closing deals. You're doing exciting things. You're building your team. And I'm excited to see what the next year looks like. So keep up the momentum.
Hey, Brent, I just want to say thank you, man. Your voice was a big inspiration. All the things you said, squad up, things that in my mind, I'm like, no, I won't do it. I heard you say it over and over, breaking it down. I said, you know what? I'm just gonna just listen to what he says and just let the chips fall where they may. So thank you, man. You're fantastic.
Awesome. I mentioned that I was going to go over the 20 skills to build as a successful real estate entrepreneur. Number one is time management. Two is lead generation. Three, pre-qualifying. Four, lead follow-up. Five, property valuation. Six, recognizing potential and exit strategies. Seven, repair renovation valuation. Eight, handling objections. Nine, closing skills. 10, offer presentation and negotiating contracts. 11, cash buyer database. 12, negotiating with your buyer. 13, escrow and title and closing attorneys. 14, building your team. 15, business planning. 16, tracking your numbers. 17, mindset. 18, goal setting and motivation. 19, money management and profitability. 20, understanding personality types. If that sounds like a lot, I completely understand. If you want some help, go to wholesalinginc.com. Go to wholesalinginc.com. And if you really wanted to take it to the next level, consider joining the Rhino Tribe. There's a click to apply button right there. If it feels good in your gut, fill that out and have a conversation with us, and let's get to work. That is it. Incredible, incredible podcast. We really got into the nitty gritty with Javon King here out of Newark, New Jersey. And that's it. That's the end of this show. I love you guys, and I encourage you, as always, to go out there and talk to people. Till next time. Love you guys. See ya.